When I was 6, it was Thanksgiving, and she called CPS and told her to come take her kids. So that's what they did. She admitted she was unfit to be a mother. She gave him some of her methadone. After he became the youngest principal in Clark County history. Clark County is where Vegas is. That same night, though, he overdosed on methadone. For the first week that happened, he left a bucket in my room. And he said, "This is your bathroom when you're home." So, yeah, I had to piss and shit in a bucket. I got a loaf of bread and a gallon of water for the week. He told me, "I'm going to shoot you in every one of your joints. I'm going to drink a beer while you bleed to death. I'm going to enjoy the show. I got 3 properties, 2 backhoes, and plenty of guns. No one will ever find you. Your family will just wonder where you went." I grabbed the knife and I start stabbing him. It felt kind of good for people to be scared of me for once. I slammed the cell door shut behind me and just charged him. But, this isn't one of those corny movies where like, oh, he proved himself. No, they were pissed. I had to get in a lot more fights after that.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Marianne Williamson.
Welcome to Powerful Beyond Measure, a podcast about radical transformation, gritty stories, and the undeniable power of second chances. I'm your host, Matt Culp, a man in long-term recovery who believes in the power of grace, grit, and growth. Each week, we sit down with real people who've overcome real struggles, from addiction to adversity, and found purpose on the other side. No fluff, no filters, just truth, healing, and hope. And the truth is, you are powerful beyond measure, and it is time you knew it. Okay, so usually what we do here is we start the episode, we'll kind of like get to know who you are, where you're from, what's your name, and then kind of like where you grew up, your childhood, and then from there, like I'll kind of lead you like where we go next or whatever. But pretty much it's just your testimony, and then we'll kind of like spitball after that and talk about like I'll have questions and then like about your recovery journey and then kind of go from there.
So yeah, my name is Jake Snyder, and I am an addict and an alcoholic for sure. I was born in Indio, California. I have very little memory of it though. Most of my early childhood that I remember is in Las Vegas, Nevada. And it wasn't, I was kind of all over the place. I remember my mom wasn't too much of a mom at the time. She loved us. Both our parents loved us. They just weren't good at being parents. That's the thing. I don't have too many memories of her being awake. She would fall asleep and she wanted me to stay in the living room. So I would always sneak out of the window after she fell asleep. I was like 5 or 6 at this time. To go play with kids and get food from the neighbors and stuff like that. Around this time, our oldest brother was stealing food from grocery stores. He was 12.
Not Jesse, a different brother?
No, it was Jesse, yeah.
Okay.
We got this chubby ass 12-year-old running out of the grocery store with a cart full of like macaroni and he stole liquor too, which looked really bad, but he was doing it for my mom. But it was during that time that he tried drinking for the first time. And he kind of found out why some people like it so much. He thought he was getting her medicine,
Okay.
I wasn't aware of all that going on. It's just I'm just saying that to kind of build perspective on the situation. When I was 6, it was Thanksgiving, and she called CPS and told her to come take her kids. So that's what they did. She admitted she was unfit to be a mother, and I don't know what's going on at the time. All I know is police are coming in and telling us get in the car, we're leaving. They were nice to us, but like still pretty.
It's abrupt.
It's nerve wracking,
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't see her again for years. The last memory I have of her in my early childhood is her kind of crying in the driveway, me wondering why she's not doing anything. And then journey through foster care started.
Y'all stayed together?
For the first year in foster care, yeah. First foster family, we were all together. We were a little rowdy for them. They had their own kids. I feel like they didn't know what they were getting into. They were kind of more just doing it for the money, and they had a fantasy idea of it, like they're just going to take us and we're going to fall right in line with their home culture and everything. And that didn't happen. Their kids bullied me, then my brothers bullied them, and kind of turned into a cycle. We didn't get along. They ended up jumping the foster dad at one point, my brothers. I was always in trouble. I started, like I grabbed a knife one time and threatened to stab their youngest daughter, and it was pretty crazy. I do have some earlier memories of my parents fighting, so that's probably where I got that idea. That, my mom throwing lamps and shit at my dad, threatening him with weapons.
Where was your dad and all the?
It was in California somewhere, Southern California, Coachella, I think. And he was just getting high, and he had kind of given up. They had divorced by then, and he wouldn't be in the picture in any of our lives for a few years. So yeah, the first foster family kind of, they're like, take these kids, we can't deal with it. Yeah. And my two older brothers went to stay with an older half sister. Her name's Sarah. She's 18 years older than me. So she became their legal guardians, and her and her husband started taking care of my two older brothers. The house was too small for me and my sister to go stay with them, though. So we went to another foster home. That place was a little more relaxed. I liked it there. The dad was a nerd. I was kind of a nerd too. I was really into Star Wars and stuff like that. And my brothers weren't nerdy. They did not approve of me being like kind of on the weaker, dorkier side, which always bothered me. But yeah, he was with it though. But we were still too rowdy for them, I guess. We weren't fighting all the time or anything like that, but we were highly emotional. I'd wake up from nightmares in the middle of the night, kind of screaming. I was like 8 when we went and started staying with them. So yeah, after a year, they decided they didn't want to adopt us, and my sister took us too. They moved into a bigger house. And I really liked it with her and her husband. I was the only one who got adopted because my other siblings all ran away.
Well, they were older by then, right?
They were older. They were 16, 17, and my sister was 13.
You think that the foster parents like naturally think that they're like just going to form a bond and like a connection, and like sometimes it just doesn't happen? And
some of them do. I think a lot of them see it kind of like pets. Like, we love our pets and everything, but we're expecting our pets to just kind of get trained and fall in line. Okay. I think a lot of them see it like that. The second family, I think, was actually because they ended up having their own kids, and I think that they used us as practice kids.
Okay.
Which kind of fucked up, in my opinion. But
I think a lot of times people are adopting because they can't have kids, and then some like things happen, and then they end up they can't have kids,
Yeah.
But yeah, it is kind of like practice, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
That happens a lot more than you think. Like, people adopt because they think they can't have kids, and then a year later they have a kid. It just happens.
Yeah. Which is like, I get it. You might even regret having adopted, but like, you did. It's not the kid's fault.
Yeah.
But Yeah, they had their own kids long after they decided not to adopt us. They didn't have any foster kids after us. They might have just decided that's not for them. I thought they did great compared to the first family. The first family were a little more judgmental. Nothing against this demographic, but they were very conservative Christian, and we very much weren't. We had no idea about any kind of religion or,
Yeah. Or
we
just-
had no structure whatsoever.
Or just being conservative in general, like
Yeah.
structured. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we stressed them out. Ended up with my sister and her husband. I stayed with them for like 2 years. They had adopted me, and I thought I was going to finish growing up there, but her husband ended up overdosing. She was on methadone. She gave him some of her methadone after he became the youngest principal in Clark County history. Clark County is where Vegas is, which is pretty impressive, I think. That same night, though, he overdosed on methadone. I don't know the exact details behind it. I just know it was hers. I don't think she shoved it down his throat or anything. That seems ridiculous. It broke her more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Her husband died. That sucks. And they were young. He was 33 and she was 27. So she was younger than I am now.
Did he take drugs prior to that, or it was just like a?
He had a
Everyone.
history, but as far as I knew, during the time that he had kids and everything, he pretty much drank on occasion. And that was about it. I think he was like just celebrating too hard after getting,
The job.
Yeah, she completely fell apart, and she ended up doing coke and heroin and leaving all night and kind of acting like a teenager, kind of, which at the time I thought she completely failed as a mother for all of us. Looking back, though, it's like I probably would have handled it much worse than she did.
Yeah. How old was she?
She's
27.
27.
Yeah, but she had your other siblings when she was how old?
She was like 25 when my two older brothers went there, but they also had their own kids.
Yeah.
She had a daughter before I was born. So I have a niece that's 6 weeks older than me.
Okay.
And then I had two nephews that were with them, three. Two of them were hers before she got married. One of them was his before he got married. And the youngest was after they got married. So altogether, there were like 8. Well, out of all of us that stayed in the house, really just 5, sometimes 6 of us. 'Cause my sister that's closer to me in age, her name's Katie. She would run away but kind of come back a lot of the time because she was a young girl. She was like 13.
She would run away to like to her friend's house, or
Yeah, or where my brothers were staying, and they
Okay.
would eventually get tired of her and send her back home. And my brothers they brought my brothers back a few times, and then they just gave up. They were like, you can't come home until you're ready to follow our rules. So they were just they just ended up living with a friend and their family. I never ran away. I was too young to even really know what's going on still. I was 10. I didn't know that they were like running away and being bad or any of that. I just thought that they were always gone. So, yeah, and I liked it there. I don't see what their problem was. I see it now looking back. They had already been introduced to drinking and smoking weed and all that, and they weren't allowed to do that at the house. So they went somewhere where they could. So, yeah, my sister fell apart, and then we ended up moving into this kind of suburban area in Henderson. Stayed there for a little less than a year. I did. Her husband's parents came to pick me up for a visit, kind of out of the blue. I was supposed to go to New Mexico with them for 2 weeks. It ended up being pretty much the rest of my childhood. So I went out with them onto this ranch. It was pretty cool. They had 500 cows and a lot of horses. And
in Arizona,
in New Mexico.
New
It was
Mexico.
northern New Mexico. Really close to Colorado. We were in Colorado as much as we were in New Mexico.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was supposed to be 2 weeks. My sister, my sister cut off all contact with us and just pretty much abandonment.
I mean, she was on drugs and alcohol, right?
Yeah. Yeah. She told me later on when I got back in touch with her after I turned 18, she said it was, she felt like she had to choose between all the rest of her kids and me. And she chose
Her kids.
Yeah, which was, I get it. I held it against her for a long time. But looking back, like I said, I would have probably done a lot worse. I would have probably been more like my mom and just said, come get them all. I can't do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I ended up in New Mexico on the ranch with them. They ended up taking guardianship. At first, it was pretty awesome. It was a big culture shock. Nerdy city boy to pretty much ranch hand kid. No video games. I didn't mind it. They had a huge property, and I would just kind of go explore. They had dogs. I would hang out with the horses. I learned to ride the horses. I did everything that the ranch hand did. Eventually, he actually fired his ranch hand because I was better. I was 12 at this time. After a little while, though, things started to go south. So they had hired another ranch hand. He really didn't like me. So I was told to put these ladders away when we got home from what we were doing, and I did. He brought them back outside and like tossed them next to the truck. Not a big deal, you would think, but this is a huge turning point here. So he was upset. He was like, hey, you didn't do what I asked. You didn't put the ladders away. Why? I was like, I did. It's like, look, outside, they're on the ground. I was like, well, I had them put up. And he became furious. He's like, you're going to lie to me like that, right to my face. And I told him, no, I refuse to lie. I had him put away. I don't care. I think Mike took him back out. Mike was the ranch hand. And
you were in a disagreement with the ranch hand, or
no, this was the it's complicated. It was my sister's husband's
parents.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was dad.
Okay. Yeah.
So I called him granddad. I was calling them by their names. He thought that was disrespectful, which I get it.
Yeah.
But he became furious because I wouldn't lie to admit the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, he beat the hell out of me and kind of fucked with me a little. He's like, you ain't never been abused. I'll show you abuse. And something kind of clicked in my head, and it wasn't the same after that. And that had happened about 6 months after I moved there. So my mom had beat our ass a few times too. She was worse to my sister than any of us. She had a thing against her daughters. But it was still a thing. And I don't think that was too abusive. Her thing was more neglect. We would have starved if it weren't for my older brother. I remember making ketchup and mustard sandwiches when I was staying there. Not much of a sandwich, but that's what it's ketchup, mustard, and bread, and that's what I ate a lot of the time when my brothers weren't home when we were living with my mom. But he beat the hell out of me, and it was not pleasant. That was the first time I really physical abuse. He beat me like a man. And eventually I just gave in and I said, okay, I'm sorry. I'll do it right next time. Of course, that's not how I said it. It was through tears and I was kind of freaking out, And I was so thrown off. I couldn't really focus on my homework anymore. And I kind of started to withdraw. I guess if I had grown up with him from being little or someone like him, I might have handled it a little better. But being kind of the dorky little video game lover that I was, it just got to me. So I couldn't focus on my schoolwork anymore. Anything started getting bad grades. Got my ass beat more often. The punishments got more creative. I tried going to CPS through the school. I tried it more than once. It always backfired though. They would tell them, hey, he came to us and I think he's just being a brat. So we're obligated to let you know. You might want to set him straight. So he's like, okay, I won't leave marks on you no more. we'll do other stuff. So they took away everything out of my room, bed, clothes. I had 2 outfits I could wear to school, and they were both too small for me. They weren't anything I picked out. And I looked ridiculous at school. So I started kind of isolating more. I didn't really have friends at school to begin with. So, yeah, that didn't help. And for the first week that happened, he left a bucket in my room. And he said, "This is your bathroom when you're home." So, yeah, I had to piss and shit in a bucket. I got a loaf of bread and a gallon of water for the week. And this started in summer, sorry. It started like towards the end of summer break. And then once school started, I had the 2 outfits. While I was home, I was actually just in my boxers. So even when I was working, it was really weird.
I'm sorry you had to go through that. That sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not healthy.
What do you think? Do you think that he always had it in him and it just kind of, the ladders was the catalyst to the, like in evoking the abuse?
He kind of had the attitude like he might be like that, and I picked up on that, but I thought he was just, a stern,
God.
he's just a hard-ass kind of man, nothing wrong. He's a cowboy,
Yeah.
And he was strong, hardworking. I found out later that his son kind of went through the same treatment. His son despised him. And as we get farther in the story, his son agreed with me in this altercation, which is pretty wild because usually I'll get to that part.
Okay.
But I tried running away. I made it a whole like 6 hours, ended up in the juvenile crisis shelter for the night. And they came to pick me up the next day, and I was like, "I really don't want to go. Can I just go to jail?" And they're like, "No, you have to go home, quit being a brat, because now there's no marks. I can't prove any of this." Sounds ridiculous when I say it. It's, they just think that I'm being a brat. So he added a few more things to the list. It was wintertime at this point when I had run away, and northern New Mexico gets snow. It gets icy. It gets below freezing. So he made me back to the boxers, he made me sit outside in the snow for a couple hours. He's like, "You want to run away? You don't want to have anything." And I was like, it was a trade-off. I wanted to run away and be in the cold to not be with you. Now I have the worst of both worlds here,
You said that or felt that?
I felt that. I did not have the balls to talk back anymore. That was done after he beat my ass the first time. Everything I did was behind their back.
Trying to like get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or try to make yourself feel better about the situation.
Yeah. Dissociating a lot.
Yeah.
I had this stress-induced tinnitus.
Yeah, when you said you couldn't focus and your schoolwork got worse, it really just sounds like you literally just endured like trauma and couldn't focus,
Right.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, and it made it worse because they wanted me to get good grades, but I just couldn't think about that when I was at home. I was like way too on guard. Not that did any good. I'm on the second story of their house. I can't run. I can't fight or flight. So I froze.
Yeah.
But you can't rationalize your way through that when you're 12, 13 years old. So
I don't think you can rationalize it at any point in your life. If you get in that space and you're in a traumatized state, you're right. You can't fight. You can't flight. You're going to choose something.
Just kind of lizard brain a little, just the frontal cortex only existed at school, which around this point, I started becoming really manipulative. Now I'm learning how to lie. Cause I was, can't flight, so fawn. I'll tell them what they want to hear. Still couldn't focus on schoolwork at home, but I started earning things back. When we got report cards, I had this friend of mine pretend he was my bully and crossed out all the grades, the bad grades, and wrote DF, DF, like it was just some corny 80s bully. Had him write "you suck" with a backwards K. If I did it myself, they'd recognize my handwriting, And they totally bought it that time. I was so impressed with myself. They're like, "Okay, well, you've earned one thing back. Anytime I do something they liked, I earned one thing back. It can be an outfit. It can be the box spring, the mattress. The bucket had come out of my room at that point. That was just for the first week. I was allowed to eat with them again. Not that I really wanted to. I just didn't want the bread and water. But things were kind of getting a little better. And I had also started hanging out with the stoner kids. Gave me something to look forward to. Felt like my older brothers. Now I'm smoking weed, you know. But I also had some friends. They didn't care if you were a dorky or a jock or anything. If you smoke weed, you're cool. We're in middle school, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's all it took for you to be considered a hard ass at that, you know. Yeah. So I was like, I went from feeling isolated, nerdy kid to now I'm in with the bad kids. Like, started feeling pretty good. I was in sports to stay out of the house longer, not because I love sports so much. I did kind of enjoy playing them. I'm not a big fan these days of watching sports, but
Me neither.
yeah, it's not my thing. I was in track at the time, and I stole all the cash that grandma had in her wallet, and I was like, she'll just think she misplaced it or something, you know. I'll just deny like because that worked so good the past time that I denied. They showed up to the track meet that same day. I stole it for weed. I was trying to buy. Yeah, so it was going to be even cooler and actually provide the weed this time. Didn't make it that far. They showed up to the track meet, took me home in the middle of it. They bought a drug test. He had disowned his son for smoking weed. And he told me he told me, I'm going to shoot you in every one of your joints. I'm going to drink a beer while you bleed to death. I'm going to enjoy the show. I got 3 properties, 2 backhoes, and plenty of guns. And you like to run away. So, fail this drug test. You're going to run away again. No one will ever find you. Your family will just wonder where you went. And part of me believed him. Part of me knew that he probably wouldn't do that. But it wasn't fear that made me snap. It was anger. It was when he said your family's going to wonder where you were forever. I just pictured my brothers wondering where I am, if I'm okay. And I'm not. These people who despised our family, they wouldn't let my brothers or anyone in my family talk to me. They saw them all as a bunch of drug addicts, and you know, not far from the truth.
Yeah, but they just wanted you to isolate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that might have been true, but from what you're telling me, it seems that isolation is important.
Looking back, I think it was a son for a son. Their stepdad, or my stepdad, because I got adopted, my sister's husband, died from her drugs. And now they're going to take one of their kids. Now you guys get to lose a son. So I felt like they had no qualms of making me disappear. But I was good. I was a good ranch hand. Whether I was in trouble or not, I did good work.
It might have been, I was thinking prior to you saying that, you know, I'm far away from the story, but I was thinking that it might be a way for him to avenge his son, like that he can, you know, his son smoked weed and he disowned him. So maybe he was thinking, if I get this kid, that I can like beat him straight before all that happens.
I think he actually did, because only when he got drunk, but he'd be like, you know, if I don't sell out, I'm giving this ranch to Jake. He's the only one, you know, he's more worth the shit than all these people I hire.
I think that a lot of it was maybe fear he was going to lose you to the same scenario, which kind of he did, but
self-fulfilling prophecy, in my opinion.
Correct, yes.
So, yeah, he told me how I'm going to die. They got a drug test on the way home. I didn't exactly believe him, but I became furious. I didn't really feel the anger, though. I just knew that something... I pretty much... Jail's better than being here. I think I'd rather go to jail for murder than chance this for another 4 years. Because I was 14 now, till I'm 18. So that's what I did. We got home. He's digging through the fridge looking for something to make. I don't get food for the night. That's that's out the window. Grandma's sitting across it was like a bar area, like an island. She's sitting there reading the drug test instructions. I look at them both, and I'm right by the knife drawer, so I open it really slowly. I grab the knife, and I start stabbing him. Thank God for me, I picked a really shitty knife. It was like one of those big vegetable cutting knives, but it bent instead of like going through. Because I really didn't want to kill him. I just wanted to get out of there. So I got him 3 times in the back. He turned around and knocked me across the kitchen. And I got the knife again and got him once in the chest. I missed his heart by 2 inches, which again, thank God. And while we were fighting, she tried to grab the knife, and I held it out for her at one point, and she grabbed the blade, and I sliced the shit out of her fingers, and that made her back off. And I remember him yelling, Pam, call the fucking police. He'll kill you. Stay out of this. Call the police. And for some reason, that made me feel really proud. Looking back now, I'm not proud of any of this. I also don't think I would change it, since there was no other way to get out of there. But
It was like a power shift.
yeah, like now they're scared. It felt kind of good for people to be scared of me for once. Of course, though, the fight stopped and I went and sat in his chair, which I'm not allowed in that chair. So I sat in it while he bled on the couch where I usually sit. I saw his chest and it freaked me out, seeing all the blood coming out. I wasn't scared for him, but I also was like, I can't believe I did that. Then the sheriffs got there and I went to jail for what I thought was going to be like 20 years at the time, because I didn't know there was a difference between the juvenile and adult system. And I was like, I'm going in for attempted murder. And I did not know how the system worked. There's a camera, much like we got here in my face, and the detectives are like, this is confidential. You can tell us anything, no one else will know. So I told him my exact plans. I was going to kill them both and then burn down the house to hide the evidence and burn down the stuff that he worked for. And so it was not confidential.
Did you tell them about the abuse?
I tried to. They weren't trying to hear that part. And the grandma and granddad would later say that I had my clothes packed and ready to go for when I burned the house. They used that against me. They had my clothes packed because I wasn't allowed to have them. I didn't know where they were. So, yeah, they would say things like that. My public defender, we call them public pretenders, but yeah, he was, so the guy's son, his name's Jeff, reached out to him and said, hey, do you need a witness? So I can't believe that kid did that, but I wish I would have done it. So that's what I was saying I'd get to later. His son sided with me on that. He was totally cool with the idea of me killing his dad and burning the house down, which I didn't want to. I told him, no, I don't want to do that, because it made me feel bad, even though the guy was abusive as fuck, but I don't think he was bad at heart. I think the lady was.
Really?
Yeah, she was more manipulative and vindictive. Her son died, and, she would tell him every little thing I did wrong and kind of gleefully wait for the punishment to happen.
You think she like manipulated him sometimes to punish you?
No, I think she just kind of egged it on.
Okay.
I don't think he took much manipulation because he thought he was doing the right thing. One of her daughters, my stepdad's sister, lived in the area, and she came to pick me up one time because they needed a break from me. And I asked her while we were driving to her place, I was like, did you ever get beat for having bad grades? She's like, no, because I never got bad grades. I was like, okay. So that's how you feel about it. And then when she took me home later, there's like a family get-together kind of thing. And she said it to everyone, like, so that they could all have a good laugh. He told me, and I told him, no, because I didn't get D's and F's. And they're like, ooh, and I just really started despising that whole family. My legal name's Jack McCrae. I don't go by that name because that's their family name. I don't want it.
So Jake is your real name?
Jake's my birth name, yeah.
Was your legal name is
Jack McRae.
Jack McRae sounds like a movie, not a movie star. It sounds like
A character in a cop
character.
movie.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like a character in like an action film.
Yeah, Jack Hunter McRae is the whole name. Yeah.
Yeah, that's even worse.
Yeah, it is.
Or it sounds like you're gonna assassinate somebody.
Yeah.
When you throw the middle name in there.
Yeah, like 80s corny action star. I'm right there with like Van Damme.
Yeah, Van Damme and Jack McRae.
Yeah.
Is it MCCRAE?
REA. It's spelled like McCrea. But I definitely prefer Jake Snyder.
And that's on your license?
Changed. Yeah. Yeah, I can show you in a minute.
Okay.
Still have my Arizona license. Good for 40 years. I should probably switch it.
It doesn't cost much to change your name. Maybe $150, $200 maybe?
It shouldn't be much. No, I just, until this last year, I was preoccupied in other things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I went to jail. Another culture shock. I was one of like 8 white people.
You stay till you were 18?
No, I feel like I got really lucky. I did 7 months of dead time through the court process, slowest 7 months of my life. I didn't know when I would get out. Because once I got there and learned about the system, I was like, okay, I really do not want 20 years. Like, reality set in as the only white boy in that cell block. It took me like 3 months of getting punked, and, I had to pay rent, giving up my commissary to not get beat up. After about 3 months of that, I told this kid to come into my cell and come because rent was due. Corny shit, but came into my cell. I slammed the cell door shut behind me and just charged him. But this isn't one of those corny movies where like, oh, he proved himself. No, they were pissed. I had to get in a lot more fights after that. Now this little bitch wants to stand up for himself. And I lost a lot of them. And usually they didn't go on long enough to win or lose, though. They were broken up by the COs pretty quick.
Yeah.
So there's that too. But things started to kind of shift. And then like 2 months before I got sentenced, I was actually feeling kind of, I'd become my culture. I was fitting in well enough with everybody and got along, and no one was punking me for my commissary anymore. I actually started fucking with other kids who came in. This was the county, so people were in and out all the time. I saw people come and go like up to 5 times during that 7 months. And I was like, why don't I get a chance for conditions of release?
Yeah.
Well, they didn't attempt to kill anybody.
My second time in juvenile, I'm from Memphis, so we're in, the same situation. I'm in juvenile. My second time I was in, the court date came up, and I'd caught charges on, I think I had more in the car, but I think I got caught with like an ounce of weed in the car. And they hit you with like whatever, distribution, manufacturing, intent to sell, all that stuff, right?
Right.
But I was in court, and there was probably about 15 people in court that day. And one of the people had over 87 charges, and one of them was concealed weapon, okay? Mm-hmm. All of them had violent charges, most of the people in there. They all got released R&R, on your own recognizance. Mm-hmm. They came to me, and they said, what were the words? Threat to society. No release on R&R, and set my bond to high amount. And it was juvenile, you don't get a bond. You pay your bond.
I was gonna say
you pay your entire bond, whatever it is.
I didn't get any offer. No, none of us did in New Mexico.
This was prior to your court date. You can get out to go to your court date or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
But most people in juvenile don't get out because, say the bond is $5,000, you have to pay the $5,000.
Right.
You don't get, it's not $500 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't remember what it was, but my jaw dropped. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that Devil's Lettuce, man. Didn't you see the 70s commercials, Reefer Madness?
The devil's lettuce. I think it was more of a, if we like punish him, it might actually stick. You know, we might actually change his life where the other situations weren't. They thought they were probably just goners, you know. We're trying to clear the system, just get them out of here today, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, but it was definitely like a biased situation, you know.
Yeah,
I think it was done out of, it was malice, but it was also done out of like
tough love.
Tough love. They were trying to care for me in a sense, but
Yeah, a lot of people do. I feel like the way the juvenile system's set up, they're just breeding the next generation of criminals.
yeah.
Out of all those kids that I met, I am one of less than 5% that didn't ever go to jail as an adult, I think. I went a couple more times as a juvenile, but the sentencing came and I ended up getting sentenced to 2 years. The probation board and everybody recommended I get a youthful, which is your age doesn't matter, you're until you're 21. I had signed a plea for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon on a household member. Much better than attempted murder, but I could still get the youthful. Now I couldn't be charged as an adult, which cool. So I can't get life or 20 years.
You
or
also
any of
wouldn't
that.
move your time into adult time. You would stay
Right.
there till you're 21.
Right.
Yeah.
So the judge, which it's rare that he ever just doesn't go with their recommendation. He was like, I think 2 years is fine for this kid. And everyone thought I was like super badass. When I got back, I opened a bag of chips and I was all happy and like hanging out. And they're like, you're about to get out finally? I'm like, I am in 2 years. You just got 2 years and you're all happy? The fuck? This kid's more G than everybody. I was like, nah, I know when I'm getting out.
Yeah.
Like, I won't be in this motherfucker longer than 2 years. Like, I'll still be a kid when I get out.
The unknown in jail is the hardest part.
Yeah, that's why that 7 months was so long. And I didn't get time served. Then I went to the prison for kids. It was in Albuquerque. They called it Youth Diagnostic and Development Center. They like to fluff it up, but it was juvenile prison. That's where I was like one of 8 white people. I developed this super strong Mexican accent, not on purpose, but that's where I discovered a few more cool drugs, you know. Snorted trazodone. That was a fucking experience. Not pleasant. Shit burns. Also snorted some oxys, though. That did not burn.
Felt pretty good.
Smoked a little weed in there. Like literally one hit at a time because that's all we could really pull off. But yeah, I was like becoming one of these gangster ass kids. I thought I was a cholo. You know, I was with it. This was pretty much the first time in my life where I had felt accepted by the majority. And it was like, now I'm as hard as my brothers, probably harder even. They didn't go to prison for kids. Like, now everyone will approve of me. Like, this is pretty awesome. And it was a step up. My first night in the county, I saw this, there's this table with a chess checkerboard painted on it. And I remember, like, I got kind of excited. I was like, I wonder if anyone here plays chess or checkers. I don't have to work tomorrow. I don't have to do anything. I'm not allowed to do anything. And I remember getting excited by that. Now, that wore off. That was like pink cloud of not being in the abusive home anymore.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So when I got to the prison for kids, it wasn't, like, bad. And anyone who wanted to fight, like, fuck it, let's go. Like, you guys got nothing on this old man. Like, he was in his early 50s, the guy who beat my ass. But he was strong, healthy, cowboy dude. Like, he worked every day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, these kids weren't really holding a candle to his flame. I still stressed out severely at conflict, though. I wasn't as hair-triggered as they were. Pretty much only when I really had to. Like, someone's punking me in front of other people or something. Like, okay, I got no choice. I gotta... And I think a lot of people could tell I was forcing it. But I still did it, and that's all that mattered. I would still fight her. I got better and better at fighting, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I was accepted by the majority, which was also pretty cool. I clicked up with Connect Gang. They try to do little prison gangs, corny as fuck. There's that one and BPF, Brown Pride Family, were the two big ones in there. So like, yeah, there were people that beefed with me, but they saw me like the rest of the people they beefed with. I wasn't someone to be taken lightly, you know, which was pretty cool. No one was killing anyone or raping anyone. This isn't real prison, you know, but it's still like, these are the most savage kids in all of the state of New Mexico.
I think I would rather be in adult prison.
Yeah, people are more mellowed out. Everyone has something to prove in juvie.
Yeah, juvie, yeah. Yeah, they're all young too. They have something to prove.
Right.
Then they really understand that nothing's going to happen. They're already in juvenile prison. What's the worst that's going to happen?
You can get time added. Some of them did. But they didn't care.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
right.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for that to happen. So yeah. Also, it was right before I got sentenced that I started really getting into religion and spirituality. I hadn't had a chance to do that before. So I started studying all of them. At first, I was a Catholic for like the first year. I was really devout Catholic, like just dove right in, learned how to pray the rosary and did that every night and asked God to not keep me in jail the rest of my life every night. Let me get out while I'm still a kid. And that was answered. Didn't get me out quick enough though. So that, you know, at the time I was pretty butthurt that I still had to get sentenced. You know, I was like, well, God's not helping me, but at least this judge is. Like, you only got 2 years, dude, after admitting your plans and everything. Like, but I wanted to get closer and closer with God, so I studied other religions too. I was like, well, how do I know that this one's right? Just because it's what we do in America.
Yeah.
So I studied Islam, prayed in Arabic 5 times a day and all that for a while. Studied Asian philosophies like Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, Jainism. A lot of similarities there. Hindu's the one I didn't get too into. It just seemed kind of ridiculous.
really,
The deeper philosophy of Hinduism is pretty cool, but like
the day-to-day.
the gods for every god, and like that was too much, and they looked ridiculous. I wasn't into the art styles and stuff. The dude with the elephant head, what's going on there? I just don't.
Yeah.
That was just my own personal bias and preference and everything. Eventually, I kind of settled into like the Chinese Buddhism, or we know it mostly as Zen Buddhism. It's Japanese Zen Buddhism. I liked that because it had like Confucian values for how to act in society and everything, you know, act with honor, do the right thing. It had the Taoist principle of, you know, metaphysics is too mysterious to wrap your head around it, but once you truly realize that, you'll see reality. And Buddhism for the practice, you know, that's the one where you meditate and you don't try to answer things, you just let your mind, you let the answer come to you. As time went on, though, I got out. Finally, I was 16. I had changed dramatically during those 2 years. And yeah, I went to high school. So I paroled out to a reintegration center in Albuquerque. And the reintegration was like, it's
like a boys' home.
kind of, it's jail structure, but without the big walls and stuff. Well, you can go to the store sometimes on an outing, but while you're home, it's kind of jail structure. There's not cell doors or anything, but and you get to go to a real high school.
Was there like 24-hour supervision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can easily run away.
Yeah.
You can just walk out the doors. Now you're going to be fucked if you do that. Like, you're not getting parole again. You're not only not, you're going to finish your time and you're guaranteed to get time added. It's treated the same as escaping jail.
Yeah.
So, and 2 people did do that. They're in adult prison to this day, I think. They sucked. But now I went to real high school and I was like super confident. Like, none of these fucking kids here are shit. Like, I was in the prison for kids. Like, I'm the fucking cholo around here. These Like the people coming from our place are the real hard asses. We're about to show this school not to fuck with, who not to fuck with. And that was never my attitude before. Like complete turnaround from shy little dorky white boy nerd, you know, bump into someone, oh, I'm sorry, you know. And that was actually tougher than I realized before I went to jail, because I lived on the ranch, and as I was playing sports, I was like, oh shit, this is kind of easy. But I didn't realize it at the time, so I still kind of got bullied and never talked to girls. Now I'm in this high school and I'm really popular. Everybody liked me. They thought I was so cool. The girls all liked me. It was just fucking cool. And I knew I was going to be leaving in 6 months. So nothing that I did there, like I wouldn't know any of them anymore after 6 months. I'd never see any of them again.
Yeah.
And I knew that. So I just acted however I wanted. And everybody liked me. It was cool. Like I had my first girlfriend there. Of course, we didn't have sex or anything because we were just on the school. I was in reintegration still. But like had my first kiss there. It was pretty, you know, like things that I had wanted before I went to jail, I started getting. Then I got home after that. I was on house arrest for another 6 months after reintegration, which was fine by me. I didn't know what to do outside of a house anyway. I never got to go out on my free time, not since I was like sneaking
12.
out of the window,
Yeah.
you know, like, so I'm just playing video games for the first time in like 4 or 5 years, mind you. I get to eat hot Cheetos again. Like, this shit was pretty cool. I'd stay home, fuck it. And my friend would bring me alcohol and spice, that fake weed shit, you know,
Yeah, I know
that you
all-
don't fail on a drug test.
I know
That shit
all
is
about it.
horrible, though. That shit, it's addictive. People, you know, it was
It's
more addictive than weed, that's for sure.
I was gonna say it's less addicting than weed, but it is very like. I did a lot of it. It's probably what's wrong with my brain, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah. The reason I liked it was because each packet did something different.
yeah, because it's not even like an actual, like it's just, you can mow a lawn and spray the same shit on
It's
that.
like formaldehyde or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They used to in prison, like back in the 90s, before spice even exists, they would spray like, they would take weed and spray like a black flag, which is formaldehyde, like you spray ants with. They would spray it on there,
yeah.
and then smoke it. It almost as I've never done the black flag thing, but people were messing with putting chemicals on weed prior to this, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It was cool though. He would bring friends home, but they were mostly girls he was dating, but they liked me more, kind of. Not that I was trying to steal them. They just liked my vibe more. But it's like after I got out and I was home, like now I'm not going to disappear in 6 months. So I was like way more shy and reserved on how I acted. Not to the point of how I was before. Now I still thought I was a hard ass and everything. But still, like I'm not going to do anything that I might regret in a year or two.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a cool 6 months. And then the PO was really cool with me. I got my GED. I didn't want to go back to the high school because I thought people would try to bully me and I'd end up breaking my parole by fighting them. So I was like, how about I just get my GED? And he was like, that actually seems very wise. Yeah, how about you do that? So I did. It's one of the things I regret though, because I saw those kids around town and they thought I was cool. Nobody was, because the news made me out to be this monster and very few people actually bought it though. Like most of the kids knew my situation from word of mouth and just seeing me around the school. And it turns out nobody thought I was as lame as I thought I was beforehand.
Yeah.
Nobody saw me the way, you know, and it's like, I really wish I would have realized that, because I could have gone to high school and had that same experience from the first 6 months for another 2 years. Like I could have had that social life and everything. And I feel like not doing that really fucked me up in the future. Led to when I'd eventually be really isolated. So that 6 months was great though. More freedom than I had had in all my teens, being on house arrest. You know, It was awesome. And
Who
then
were you living with?
Oh, yeah. So I had a friend I rode the bus with, and he knew everything. He even knew that there were times when I thought, I was like, I think I'm going to have to kill them in their sleep or something. And one of the other kids overheard it, but never told me anything till after I saw him again later. But he knew everything, and his parents were somewhat involved. I called them when I ran away, and they're the ones who took me to the crisis shelter.
Okay.
He became a really close friend because I saw him more than anyone. I spent an hour with him before school, an hour after school on the bus. His stop was really close to mine. I tried getting off at his stop one time, and the bus driver's like, I'll have to call the police if you do that. I can't let you do that. So they were kind of involved, and they decided almost immediately that they would be my guardians. If they hadn't stepped in, there's a stronger chance I would have gotten a youthful. There would have been no one to step up, and I had no way of getting in touch with my family. My sister did find me while I was in jail, and that slowly got me reconnected with my family while I was in jail. So they became my New Mexico family, though. Like, I still call him mom and dad. He's still my brother.
Okay.
Found out later he's actually bisexual and was really into me, which threw me for a loop for sure. I was like, well, that's not going to get reciprocated at all. At first, I really was upset when I heard it. I'm like, so you helped me because you wanted to fuck, not because, we had a bond, like we were friends. That's not, it's like, it can be both. But I wasn't hearing that at the time. I was kind of an asshole, but because his whole family really stepped up, and they've always treated me like their son from day one.
Yeah.
They drove out to Albuquerque, which was like a 4-hour drive, twice a month to visit me for 45 minutes. And all the money that they got from me being awarded the state and all the stuff, my sister's husband set up a pension that I was a part of. They were getting altogether $800 a month for taking care of me. Now, they got this on the ranch too. I didn't know at the time. None of that was going to me.
Well, it wouldn't go to you, but.
Well, no. I mean, like, it wasn't buying me things I needed. It wasn't doing any of that. It was not going to me in any way, shape, or form. I did get to eat there and all that, but I feel like I worked for that. I wasn't getting paid for the work I did either. I was doing as much as ranch hands that he paid.
Yeah. Sound like they didn't feed you a lot anyways.
No, they didn't. Yeah, so there's that little fun fact. They saved it for me, though. So by the time I got out, I had enough to get my first car. I had all this, and it was all money that was meant to be for me, like meant to take care of me. So I thought that was awesome that they did that. They could have pocketed all of it.
That is awesome.
They didn't. So I got off house arrest. I was free and clear. Went and visited my brothers for the first time in 7 years. I went on a 2-week visit to Vegas. My brother had gotten, the one that died, he had gotten in a super bad accident. He was resuscitated 3 times. That night, he was completely disfigured by the end of it. He was legally blind. He really couldn't see, though, like more than 2 feet ahead of him. He could kind of see silhouettes, but his optic nerve had been cut by a glass. And he still survived that, which is awesome. And so it was different when I saw him, though. I still looked up to him. He was like my hero growing up. He was the one I wanted to be like. He was like the only one of us that was just super confident no matter what. He knew he was a badass. He knew that even if the whole world disagreed, he was right, and I just wanted to be like that. And he still had that going even after all that. He was dating this stripper, and like she was kind of hot. Even though he was all blind and scarred up, he didn't give a fuck. So I looked up to my other brother too, just not to the same degree. So I saw them for 2 weeks, and I wanted to get drunk and high the whole time. I could smoke weed now, And I was like, you know, don't you see how fucking dope I am now? Like, and he's like, no, no, I'm trying to get my shit together. I quit smoking weed. I'll drink a beer or two with you because I miss you and everything. But how about we just chill? Like, we can watch football. Like, what else do you like? Do you still like video games? Like, I couldn't tell at the time, but he was disappointed. He's like, fuck, he followed in our footsteps. Yay.
Yeah.
You know, like he was he didn't want me to feel bad though, so he didn't act disappointed or anything. But I could tell looking back that he kind of was. My other brother was working like 16-hour days at a car dealership, Jesse. He was really good at that as long as he can keep him high. He had a pill habit at the time. But he was supporting him and my brother in this really nice apartment. And, you know, he was doing the thing. But after I went back, it was only like another month later, I got a phone call saying that my brother was in an induced coma in the hospital. He had overdosed on methadone. Again, my older sister's methadone. He couldn't get Suboxone. He had developed a pill habit himself for painkillers.
Your older sister again?
Gave him methadone. Gave someone else in her family that she loved methadone. He couldn't get his Suboxone because the insurance policies changed or something.
Yeah.
And so she gave him methadone, and she's like, I hid the rest. I don't know how he found it. I'm like, what do you mean you hid the rest? Why was it even available? Like, you could have just stayed there or come back every day, or because she wasn't working. She's on a lifetime pension from her dead husband. Like, so yeah, that one I held against her a little bit. I let it go because she beats herself up enough over it. She didn't want that to happen. No one did. He was like the star of our family.
Yeah. I mean, she was just trying to give him the methadone versus the Suboxone to help him out, you know?
Yeah. And
my baby mom, she died from Suboxone and Xanax together.
yeah.
Yeah.
The shit, it's, if you want to quit opiates, do it like all of us. Do it like the rest of us. You just got to stop.
Just quit.
Like,
Just go to detox.
alcohol and meth aren't fun to quit either, but we don't have methadone for those. Like,
I don't know. I've never been into the. They're really not harm reduction, but harm reduction medications, I guess. Is what
right. I despise them, as I'm sure you would gather at this point.
Yeah.
I think that they shouldn't be outlawed. It's just big pharma keeping people addicted. My sister's still taking methadone. She's been on it for like 30 years. Like almost as long as I've been alive. Like, so yeah, he died. I got to the hospital and I saw my childhood hero just super swollen and jaundiced and fucked up. It turns out he was brain dead. Machines were breathing for him and stuff. He survived this wild accident because he's such a beast, but he got killed by fucking methadone.
Yeah.
Like, my brother had almost made his mind up about pulling the plug. He came to talk to me about it. He's like, but you know, we'd be the ones killing him. I'm like, what would he want us to do though? He wouldn't want to just be a vegetable like that. He would say, fuck that. And really, he was brain dead. I was like, Jesse, he's already dead.
Yeah.
He's not there. So
Yeah. They can track brain waves. Like if it's not there, it's not there, you know?
right. And
Yeah.
it wasn't. He was brain dead.
Yeah.
It was just his body doing stuff still. Even after going brain dead, though, he still, like, his body tried to purge it. He projectile vomited and all kinds of shit. His friends went to check on him and they saw him and they're like, what the fuck? And he kind of woke up and vomited and stuff. And I think that's when he went brain dead, but it was because it was too late for him to purge it. But, yeah, that one fucked me up. I didn't really feel any emotions at the time. And I hated myself for that. All I could think was, I'm excited to get fucked up. I knew Jesse had friends that like half of them sold weed. Like, we just need to get fucked up. That's what I want to do. That's what sounds fun right now. And that's all I could really feel any emotion about. So I thought I was this piece of shit. It's like your brother died and you feel nothing. Turns out I felt enough to where I was like numb from it.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of it way later. But that was a huge turning point in my personality in ways I'm still realizing to this day. I decided I'm going to be the best drug addict ever. I'm going to impress him, which was the opposite of what he would have wanted. I hated the world because I wasn't as confident as he was in anything except my ability to hate and be angry. And it really just turned me, that's where I started getting really bitter and negative about things, no positive outlook. Because I went through all that shit, finally free, finally get to start my life, and God deemed fit to take the one person I wanted to spend the most time with immediately. Like, so I just, you know, fuck religion, fuck all that shit. Let's just get fucked up. Like, that's, everything else is bullshit. I had no passions. Even to this day, I'm like, I'm not passionate about anything except easing suffering in the world. I don't know how to go about that necessarily unless it's right in front of me. Better with animals than people, because animals, it's easy. It's starving. Give it food, you know? But yeah, that was a big turning point. And then to put the nail in the coffin, right when I had gotten back to New Mexico, first time I did meth, I gave this guy who was in his like late 50s, early 60s, I gave him a ride home. I thought he was stranded. It turns out he wasn't. He was fine. But he just kind of went along with it. I was like, do you need a ride? Yeah, thank you. We get back. I was like, are you down on your luck? You want to smoke some weed? He's like, puts me in a whole different closet. And I was like, that was kind of a red flag. I'm like, the fuck, a whole different closet? Who says that? Like, it's just uncomfortable. Okay. I was like, all right, well, he's like, hold on. I got something you might want to smoke. And that's where I tried meth for the first time.
What did you think he meant by a whole different closet?
I just thought it was his way of like jokingly saying it makes him act weird.
Okay.
I came to find out later it meant, you know, the typical in the closet kind of thing.
Like the gay shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we smoked. I got high as fuck. It was my first time, and he knew how to cook the shit. He was like one of the old OG tweakers. So we got fucked up, and he wanted to get me as high as possible. He was aiming at a goal here. Then he did a shot, and I was like, "Does that get you higher than smoking?" It's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, "Well, I want one." He's like, "Are you sure? It's your first time." I was like, "I don't give a fuck. If it kills me, it kills me. Like, big whoop. Let's do it." He's like, "No, it won't kill you."
The best possible thing is in that scenario is that it would have killed you.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, yeah, I ended up getting date raped pretty much after that. He gave me enough to. And as I kind of came back to, like, I blacked out.
Yeah.
Like, I doubt I was asleep. I was still moving and doing stuff.
First time I ever shot meth, I hit the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I came back to and I was like, oh my God, I know what you were trying to do. It's like, what's that? It's like, you're trying to like take advantage. And I looked around and I'm like, fuck, my clothes were off. It's like, you motherfucker, dude. And he started talking and I couldn't understand what he was saying. As like, I couldn't understand English. And I was like, am I talking weird? No, because I could understand English in my head, but it's like I couldn't hear the English he was saying. It's like my ears couldn't interpret it. That only lasted for a few minutes, then that went away. He's like, look, I'm sorry. I'll get you more dope. And I was like, all right, fuck it. I was still really high, you know, and so I just smoked more dope. And my memory tells me it was 9 days. I honestly have no clue, because you lose track of how long you're up after a while.
Yeah.
But during that time, he admitted to pretty much doing the same thing to his underage son. His son wasn't underage at the time. But he's like, yeah, my son hates me and he only talks to me to get dope. You know, I did this to him once or twice, but it's not that big of a deal. You're fine with it, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? And I just kind of ignored it and kept smoking. I liked the meth that much. I was like, I'll put up with anything to keep getting more of this shit. After 7 days, though, he ran out and I started to get a little bit of clarity. And I was like, I'm going home. And went home, admitted that I did meth. I didn't say any of the other stuff until far later. But a few of the people that knew him knew exactly what happened, because either it happened to them or he admitted that it happened to them. And I'm like, how does everybody treat this like it's not a big deal? But I felt pathetic. I was like, this fucking old guy who I could have really hurt if I wanted to, just got his way with me and everything. I'm like some poor little girl who got abused and I'm just cool with it. And like, I thought of my brother who had recently died and how disgusted he would be with that. How like, he'd be like, dog, you really let this old, like, go back and kill him. Go fuck him up. What are you doing? And I didn't do any of that. So self-loathing hit an all-time high. And anger got higher. I saw him later on and I just kind of looked at him, and apparently the look was intense or something, because he like got freaked out, got in his car and left when I saw him. It was at Arby's. It was like a hangout spot for us. But yeah, he saw me and he kind of was excited at first, and I just kind of glared at him in a way that I can't really mimic now. And yeah, he kind of freaked out, got in his car and left. And that was the last time I saw him. But yeah, between that and my brother dying, and that's how I honored his memory and this and that, I hated myself. I went back to Vegas, did meth for another year or two, like 2. And my brother had moved to Arizona. He had done a little prison time, Jesse. I think it was just county, actually. I don't think he went to prison. But all in all, he got clean on everything except weed. And he was kind of taking care of himself at this point. He didn't want me to come down there all addicted to meth and stuff. But his wife at the time, not his wife now is not that. But she was like, come anyway. He'll deal with it. Just come down here. And she was an ex-tweaker. So I did. And I didn't do dope down there. I didn't try to find it. There was one guy who actually offered some dope for my phone when I got there. Like immediately, right off the Greyhound bus. Hey, for that phone, I got some shit. And I was like, get the fuck away from me, dude. Like, already? Damn. But I ended up just weed and occasional drinking. I hadn't crossed the threshold on alcoholism yet. I hadn't, like, I remember I was still buying like 1 to 11 after work, drinking it and being cool. Like now I'll smoke a bowl and I'll just pass out and we're good. But weed was the big one. I still wasn't I'm not doing this be sober shit. You got me fucked up. It was weed all day, every day. If I had to scrape resin, I scrape it again, because resin forms more resin. Is it, like
Yeah.
I'll scrape that shit 4 times before I can't get any more out of it. Like just fiend mode, even for weed, for anything but sober. And it was mostly just weed for years. I became an electrician, started working with him on that, with Jesse. Jesse already was an electrician. And during that time, there was one friend I met at work who I'd go to his house and drink because he lived closer. And it was during the times drinking with him that I, at some point, crossed the line. It got to where if I start drinking, I can't stop till I pass out, till I'm asleep. And I'm not going to choose to go to sleep. It's just, I'm going to have drank so much that I fall asleep. It took a little bit, but it happened. Drinking with him every day. Eventually I got there. So I didn't see that as an issue though. It's like, I'm not doing meth. Like I don't drink at work. I drink with this guy, and It was off and on. I didn't feel like I needed to go there. Jesse didn't allow it in his house because alcohol was his worst thing. He was worse with drinking than he was with heroin. So he didn't allow it in his house. And, you know, so I'd go to this guy's and drink, but not every night. Eventually, I became his roommate, though. I moved in with the guy. And we ended up getting into it a couple times. And
Drinking?
Yeah, and then it led to a fist fight.
Yeah.
Then I went back and stayed with Jesse again. It's like I would quit drinking when I stayed with Jesse, and me and him were, you know, but we always ended up making up, drinking again. And eventually, like right before I took a job doing cell towers in California, I was like, I got to go do my own thing, quit leaning on my brother. And this was when I was like 27.
Okay.
But, well, before all that, though, I had gotten to the point where I just isolated. If I wasn't drinking with that guy, I was in my room by myself. Leave me the fuck alone. I had my cat. I loved my cat. My cat liked me and nobody else. I liked him and nobody else. I think pets just take on the personality of who they're born around.
Yeah.
But I had that. And for a few years, the only thing that kept me from killing myself was like, this cat needs me. He won't be as happy without me. My brother will be fine. My sister will be fine. Everyone else will be fine. My mom can fucking deal with it. That's what she gets for raising us shitty. And that's not true. But Jesse wouldn't be fine. You know.
Yeah.
But I told myself that, and I was pretty convinced of it at the time. I'm like, they don't even notice me now. I work, and then I come in my room and fucking hide out. I only leave when I need to. I didn't have hobbies. My hobbies were getting high and drunk.
And playing with your cat.
Huh?
And playing with your cat.
Well, he just hung out with me. I did play with him a little, actually. But yeah, that was it. And killing time. Just throw something on Netflix or something. Even video games had lost their appeal. You know, after my brother dying and the meth thing, hobbies weren't a thing. There were time killers. The only hobbies I had were not being sober. So even other tweakers would be like, dude, like it's time for a break. Just tweak on something. That's, you know, you get high and then you fuck with something. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking with this ball here. Like, like I wanted to smoke and then keep smoking. Like I didn't.
That's how I am.
Yeah. I just didn't have any other hobbies. And even to this day, I'm still like, well, and I just fall back on the time killers. I still isolate. I don't know what else to do with myself is the issue.
Took me about 7-8 years.
Yeah.
To really, which I have I had a family, so kids and other stuff involved, but I mean, I guess I did have a hobby, but in my mind, like they made money. So like,
right.
They were business. I like business. I like creating business, I like streamlining things in that business. That was kind of my hobby, but I've never had anything outside until about 8-9 years into recovery where it was something that didn't make me money. So like,
right.
This is something I enjoy doing and it costs me money and I'll pay the money to do it, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have been, it's like going out on my boat or whatever. Like I bought the boat. I like water sports, but it took me that long to really do it. And then this has been a hobby. This costs me money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is probably my second hobby in 10, 11 years,
Yeah.
So probably find something before that,
I can try, but the issue is like, so, well, back to the story though.
Okay.
Before I get too into that, I took a job in California doing cell towers, and my drinking got really bad when I got into California. Now I'm alone. Now I don't have anyone harping on me about I shouldn't drink. And so after, I still didn't drink at work. One time I finished off a bottle of wine that I had right before work. I didn't want to waste it. It just sat open all night. Chug it real quick. Fuck it. Some people call it hair of the dog. No, I threw up in a gas station. You shouldn't chug wine. Threw up in line, like not in the bathroom, like just all in the open, hella embarrassing, looking like blood, purplish, you know, because it was red wine. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But I ended up, wine kind of became my thing. It's like liquor gets me too fucked up within like an hour. Like I want to remember some of it, and beer takes forever and gets people fat. I'm not trying to do all that, so I went with wine. It's in the middle. I'd go through like 4 of the smaller bottles a night on average, or 2 of those big ones, and that lasted for 6 months in California, because I ended up getting fired after crashing into the neighbor's driveway. He had 2 cars in the driveway. I crashed into both of them, totaled his car, my car, all of it. My car didn't quit running then and there though. And my only thought was like, all right, I got to get to this liquor store. Like, it still moves. We're good. Free and clear here. I'll just pretend that didn't happen. That's just some inconvenience. Fuck it. Went to the liquor store. I'm coming back. So they're outside wondering what the fuck happened to their cars, and they see mine rolling up all fucked up, making weird noises and shit, dragging a bumper. They're like, you hit our shit. I'm like, I didn't. They're like, yeah, you did. I'm like, well, you had your shit all up in the road and shit. And they're like, you're fucked up. Get out of the car, dude. So I was, fuck you, and took off 3 houses down and parked. Like, getting the hell out of Dodge. No, they saw me go into the house. So they called the police. The police didn't catch me driving. They only had their word to go off of. So I was able to play it off like I drank I got that drunk in the 5 minutes it took them to get there. They knew I was lying, but they couldn't prove it with actual evidence. So I got a hit and run instead of a DUI. I got lucky. I didn't deserve to get lucky, but I got lucky.
Yeah.
But I got fired because I couldn't get to work anymore. And I went back to New Mexico for the first time in like 10 years. Taking shitty entry-level jobs, which really doesn't work after having a respectable job for a few years. Like going from electrician to Walmart or Taco Bell or T-Mobile sales. I didn't last very long because, you know, the manager's like, you know, one day you'll be as good as me. Like, bitch, I could have fucking built this kitchen. What are you talking about? Like, yeah, I just couldn't do it. You know, these kids acting like they're hard asses because they can fucking take orders quicker than me. And I wasn't making shit. I was minimum wage, like $12 an hour. This was like 2 years ago from where we're at now, you know? So none of that was working, and I was feeling more and more like a loser. Like I had fucked off so bad. Now I'm walking to shit. Now I got this Walmart bike. Like taking steps back here feels like I was 18 again, you know? And then I got into it with a friend that I was staying with and decided I'm just moving out. Talked to Jesse, who had been in the program out here for a few months at that point, for like 6 or 7 months. And he just sounded way different. And I was like, that might be cool. But before I do all that, you know, I don't know if I need all that. I really don't want to rely on him again in Tennessee, the Bible Belt. Fucking, I don't know. So I went back to Phoenix, stayed with my niece for a bit, got a job at Burger King. See, we're moving back up. Not really. So my first day there, the 2 guys I was working with, obvious tweakers. Like, no teeth, suck the fuck up, no hair. Like, it fucked them up. And I was like, I should just walk out right now. I'm just going to finish the shift and I'm fucking leaving. I'm not playing this shit. I was trying to quit drinking. I was still doing, like, the weed vapes.
Yeah.
But that was it. And I was going to try to quit that too. I didn't think I needed AA or any of that. You know, I was doing all right. Not exactly happy. So I'm going to change because I'm not leaving that store with my Burger King uniform. I'm not dealing with that shame. No one needs to see me wearing that. Shove that in my backpack, pull out the clothes, go into the stall to change. And he left all his fucking shit in there. We call it a quag in like Vegas and stuff, but a meth bong.
Okay.
I don't know.
A
Quag
water
might
pipe?
be an outdated term now.
It's like a water pipe.
Yeah. Well, homemade.
Yeah, I know what you're
But
saying.
yeah. And he had the torch. It was loaded with like half a tea in there. I'm like, fuck.
He just left it in there.
Yeah. Well, because he, being a bit perma-fried already, the lobby was closed.
Okay.
So it was usually on those nights just him and the other tweaker guy. But I happened to be there too. And I was like, fuck. Well, I'm already a fucking loser. And that was all it took. Just let me dazzle a little self-deprecation in there. And so I hit it just once.
You didn't ask him? You just hit it?
Well, so don't fucking leave it in the open if you don't, like,
Yeah, okay.
that's what he gets. He was actually happy that
He was
that
probably
was my
fine.
reaction.
Yeah.
He was like, I sell it too. I was like, I don't know about all that, but I will go hit it a couple more times if that's cool. I was already fucking lit off that one hit. It had been like 8 years since I had done meth. Yeah, I was like 29. And the last time I had done it, I was 21. So yeah, like 8 years
Dang.
from that particular drug. And it was just like before. I was like, fuck, this is fucking amazing. And so I bought some off of him and went on this pretty intense 3-week binge. I didn't quite run out of all my money. I hated myself the whole time. As great as it felt, I was like, dude, you fucking everything you're doing is wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I pictured my brother and stepdad just rolling in their graves, like, the fuck, like just ultra disappointed. Losing weight, got down to like 135.
Yeah.
Like, I'm lucky I still have all my teeth, really, but that's when my hair started thinning after that 3 weeks. That's all it took. And I already had the receding hairline a little, the widow's peak, but it started thinning in the front and everything. And I looked 40. I took pictures each day to document because I was like, you look like shit. You're going to look back on this and be like, holy fuck. And I do. I look back on it and my face was all asymmetrical and sucked up. And I looked like I was in my mid 40s or something. So I decided at that point, I'm going to go back to New Mexico and try it again out there. Still not doing all this AA shit. I know I need it now. I do know that because that's one thing that little 3 weeks did for me. I kicked myself out of my nieces. I was like, I would never let a tweaker stay with you, so I have to leave. Like, that applies to me too. As an honorable tweaker.
Yeah.
So I stayed in a hotel for a night. I gave him $30 and he gave me a lot more. And I don't know the exact weight. He just kind of eyeballed it, but I threw it all into this big ass pipe that I bought and bought me a torch. And I was trying to smoke it all that night. I didn't make it. I didn't get it all smoked, but I got so fucking high that I was up for 3 days after my friend picked me up and took me back to New Mexico. Just brain dead, staring at the window. South Park was on, but I kept forgetting it was on every couple seconds. I was playing this stupid ass phone game. I probably spent more money on that than I did on the dope. And it took 3 days for me to finally fall asleep. And it took like a month for me to even really be able to get up longer than a couple hours.
Yeah.
Like, the recovery time from that shit is so much longer than the time that you're high on it. It's like you need a week for every day.
Yeah. The first day I would wake up, my skin would be so tight.
Clammy.
Like, no, mine would be like tight. Like, almost like I couldn't like bend my elbows.
Oh, yeah.
I think might have been just dehydrated.
It
I don't
is,
know.
yeah. Well, and yeah, it felt like my organs were raisins when I was high on that shit. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't healthy, but something about it still felt so good. Like, don't try it the first time.
Don't do
It's
it.
a big
the first time.
mistake. So that's when I realized I needed the program, though. I had been introduced to it when I was 18. People were nice. I kind of had a bit of it in my head already, and it stayed. But I didn't think I needed all that. you know. Talked to Jesse a couple more times, admitted my relapse. I expected him to be like, you fucking how? You like just really angry, like, God damn it, you know? He wasn't, which surprised the hell out of me. He's like, well, you know, cancer patients go into remission sometimes too. Just what are you going to do now? I was like, and he was just calm and understanding. And I'm like, what the fuck do you do with my brother? Like, that really was showing me like, wow. So he changed that much in 7 months. Like maybe it would be pretty cool. I doubt it'll work for me because I'm just terminally unique, but I might give it a try. It took a few more months of me drinking every day and burning a couple more bridges. Stayed with my New Mexico parents for like 3 weeks. I quit smoking the weed right when I got there because I wanted to pass the drug test when I got here. I decided to move here a month before I moved here. And I found a sober living in that time. I used my student loans to pay for a month ahead and get a car when I got out here. That's how I have a car. And I quit smoking weed a month before and quit drinking a week before so that I could pass the drug test when I got out here so there'd be no ifs, ands, or buts or any shit. And then I came out here, and I've been out here since July 28th. My sober date's July 21st of 2024.
From the drinking.
Because I quit a week before I came out here.
Okay.
And I was on a pink cloud for like a whole 3 days. You know? That didn't last long at all. Yeah. Then it was just super anger, pessimism. Now I had to deal with all these feelings. There's no escape, no hobbies. And I still have a lot of that. I do, but that doesn't necessarily fume off of me so bad these days.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think you have as much as you.
It's inside. I fight it now.
Okay.
The difference is when I got here, I thought that I saw reality for what it was. Not only am I a piece of shit, but so is everybody else. At least I know I'm shitty. And everything's fucked. This world's, it's just naturally fucked up. Like life can't even be life without killing something else. Like it's just.
Yeah, but you're coming out of just a really weird spot in your life. You know, like you probably shouldn't gauge humanity for a long time.
Well, I realized
from out of that place.
My fucking hellfire brimstone attitude was just as delusional as the rainbows and butterflies attitude that some people have. And I'd be like, come on, get your head out of the clouds. Come on. Let's wake up a little bit. See the world. It's okay. Well, you too. Get your head out of the gutter.
Yeah.
Wake up. See the world.
So it seems like you found in like a little balance.
Well, yeah, I can at least do neutral. I can at least go with whatever's going through my head, whatever thought rabbit hole I go down whenever I don't get my way and I get in self-pity. I can at least realize now that that's not the objective truth of anything. That's not the reality. That's just a delusion.
Yeah.
I don't know what's right, but I at least know that that's wrong, which is kind of nice. Because I never tell myself the positive stuff. It just sounds like complete bullshit. The negative stuff doesn't. And it became a comfort zone. If I'm spiteful enough and I just accept that the world's shitty, which isn't acceptance, it's more of like a resignation.
It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, that too. Be. And it's a comfort zone. I'll isolate, hate the world, kill time with TV. Just every now and then I'll play a video game. And I still do that, but now it's not because I hate everything. Now it's just because I don't know what else to do. And lately I have been going to more meetings. I started going to the 8s at Serenity on days that I don't have my regular meetings. Admittedly, cute girls can draw me to meetings too. Yeah, I know. That's just me. No one else does that.
Yeah.
There was one going to the 8, so I started going there. And then I actually forgot that I like the 8s. I can share at the 8s because they're small enough. And so I'm just going to keep coming to the 8s.
They're all right sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, like it.
I've been going to Serenity More than I used to. And
Yeah.
I like it.
There's a certain kind of laid back freedom to it that I like a lot.
Yeah, it's what I would call a firing line home group,
Yeah.
which is where pretty much whoever picks up their phone and goes to a meeting for the first time, they usually end up
Right.
as Serenity or Manny. And Manny's a little more.
I don't like it. It's
Well,
rigid.
now it's different, but for years and years and years before I put so many houses near it, it used to be more rigid, more like old AA. When Serenity was more loose, firing lines, home group, and I like it kind of because of that.
I don't like the rigid.
Yeah.
I might be able to get into it a little now, but when I got here, the whole sit down, shut up, and listen,
You're
pull
like,
the cotton out of your ears and
who
put
are
it in
you-
your mouth.
you're like, who are you talking to?
Yeah. Like, I will slap the shit out of you, old man. Like, get the fuck back. Like,
Yeah.
here's what we're not going to do. All right. Like, so I just thought it better for me to avoid any vibe like that at first.
What I guess from like your journey, like from being here. I mean, we kind of talked about attitude and how you felt, and how you feel now a little bit. But like, what happened between, you coming out here with your brother, and then like, who has? Do you have the current sponsor that you have the entire time, or did you? How did that?
I
how
had
did
a
that
different sponsor for like the first month and a half that I was here.
Okay, who was well?
I can
How'd that
tell
go?
you if you don't mind. But
They might mind. How did that go?
exactly.
How did that go?
Different beliefs, and
Oh, I know.
what sent me over the edge was he was telling a story, and I was like, I can't do a fifth step with this guy. He's gonna judge the fuck out of me.
That's
And I might
That's
have been
important.
wrong, but it just didn't feel right. So the sponsor that I have now has been my sponsor since then.
okay.
And I thought he was going to be a lot more like gentle,
Yeah.
given that his profession is therapist.
Have you?
No. No.
Dude, he's pissed me off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a smart ass. And for the first, like, I remember meeting him to do step 2, and I was just like not trying to hear it. I was like, dude, you got sober at fucking 20. You got money. Like, you don't even fucking know. Like,
He has a really good ability to see the people in front of him.
well, I got on something about this fucking stupid ass rule of making my bed. Because Will had just gotten on my ass about it. And I'm like, dude, I got other shit going on. It's a fucking bed. The blanket's just as clean no matter what shape it's in. And Will's like, dude, I'm just doing my job. And I'm like, sorry, it's not you. And he's like, damn. So I'm meeting Chandler, and Chandler's like, people who make their bed for the first year in sobriety are proven to be a lot more successful in the long run. There's a correlation, not necessarily a causal relation, but there's a correlation between the two. And I was like, well, I fucking believe that when I see it. Like, I said it like with this super like, it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, you're like scary right now. Like, it kind of freaks me out. I'm like, I'm not yelling. I'm not getting aggressive. He's like, I don't know. If I had a mirror right now, you might think you look pretty aggressive. Like, you're just so angry. Looks like you're ready to just pop off at any minute. I'm like, well, any minute's been going on for the last 10 years. So he's like, yeah, I know you're not meaning to be scary. You're not trying to scare anybody, but you do. And that was the first time I really like, oh, yeah. Just because I don't mean to doesn't mean that people should hear that and then get over it.
Also, like, how's it working for you?
Like just being angry all the time and shit.
Yeah.
Having that general demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
It kept me isolated, which was my goal for a while. Like, I wanted everyone to leave me alone. But I've also kind of turned into like a hopeless romantic over the years. So I was like, if I'm doing that, to a man, if I'm freaking a man out, anyone that I'm into is never going to want to deal with my ass.
Yeah.
Not that I was looking at the time and sober living and stuff. It's like, don't even try. Anyone that you're attracted to is not going to be into this version of you,
Yeah.
which is fair.
Well, you don't want.
I don't want anyone who would be into
attracted.
it. Yeah, to that. So, yeah, it's like, don't even try right now. But like all those years in isolation, I was like, I just want one person, a best friend who's cute, who just wants to hang out with me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even, like, the date rape kind of fucked me up on the sex thing. And while in high school, I was really popular, and even a little bit after my brother died, I still fucked around with some girls. I just gave up after that thing. So I moved to Arizona and didn't even try. And my whole 20s just gone. Didn't try any kind of relationship, didn't try any friendships, just hanging out in my room, random little pastimes, and getting fucked up. And
I mean, after hearing any of that story, if anybody else would have been involved, you would have caused more pain, hurt in another individual.
I would have chased him away.
And or you would still be out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it'd be we're feeding each other's toxic bullshit, and now we're addicted to each other on top of our own.
On top of your own addiction.
Yeah.
I've done it. It's not good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hurt him, and, you know, I have to make amends, and, like, I think it's a better route, even though it might suck, but, like, learning to be healthy on your own, and then finding that person, you know?
Yeah.
And I see that in you. I see in the time that I've known you that you're making good choices for your own well-being and taking care of yourself, you know? I think you still have some self-deprecation, some anger stuff, but
yeah, it's there.
But I think it's more out of habit, not because of it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not because I just love it so much or anything.
Yeah.
It's just kind of ingrained. And it's my fallback. It's my coping mechanism to act like that.
There was this guy in AA, Paul. I was 6, 7 months sober, 8 months sober, and I'm sitting in the room. I'm going, and this effing 4-step, and I got to write all these effing names, and I got to put everything I mean, if they affected my effing self-esteem or my effing pocketbook, or my, you know, and I'm like, you know, I'm going on. I'm like, I don't want to write this. You know, I'm angry.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle of my share, I come like to a clarity moment. I go, I say the F word again, and I go, how many times did I say the F word? And Paul on the other end of the room says 17 times. He doesn't talk like that. He goes, you know, 17 times or whatever he says. And I go, I say the F word again, and he goes, shows your sobriety date. And I go, And just him saying that, I have enough ego and pride in myself that I learn how to speak in a room without cussing. And I learn how to speak passionately and not angry in a room. I mean, there are certain things that my pride and ego, the first time I ever heard someone read The Promises without reading it, like just by memory, nah. I went straight home, immediately remembered it. You're not gonna do me like that. You're not gonna, you know. I mean, there's certain things that people say in your life, and certain things that sometimes people like fail. I mean, I think people discount how much other people's failures affect us, you know? Like watching people go, I don't want to do that. Or I don't want to be a dry drunk.
Right.
So I don't want to, I could just see it on them. They're angry all the time. They come in here and they're.
Right. And I don't want that either. And well, up until like really the last week or two, I still kind of enjoyed being in my room alone. You know, just watching random shit on TV and playing video games sometimes or scrolling Facebook just in my room. It was still comfortable. And this past week or two, it's not. Like, I don't want to just sit in my fucking room. Like, what do I do? I still don't know what else to do, but it's uncomfortable now.
Enough to move.
So just do something.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's just been recently. And I'm like, when did I? And that's why I said I'm still learning to this day how I was affected when my brother died, because that's around the time where like I lost passion for really anything except, you know, a fantasized relationship with a soulmate and being angry at everything else. Like, if anyone's going to fall in love with that, like, that's where my passions went, though, is the world's fucked. And I still, throughout that time, wanted to ease suffering in any way I could. And isolating kind of did do that. If this is all you got to give, don't give it away. You know?
I mean, what do you think the implications are of you studying Eastern spirituality and you acknowledgement of that there's futility and suffering in the world? Do you think it correlates?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I mean, naturally, Eastern religions, I don't know about all of them, but one of the main components is that there is suffering.
There's suffering.
Yeah.
It's unavoidable.
It's unavoidable. Yeah. Which is true. It is a spiritual truth, you know, but how much of that is your identity, you know?
Right. Well, yeah, I identified entirely with like suffering as like, because when I was younger, like up to the point my brother died, is like collecting these traumatic experiences. It's like I'm paying in now. I'm just gonna get all the suffering out of the way now, and then life will be great later. Like, no, that's not how it works. I'm well aware now. So it's like I went through all that, and now I still have to suffer at least the same as everybody else. Like, fuck. So that meant nothing.
I think the identity should be, I mean, I think the identity in Eastern spirituality is how are we, not that the suffering doesn't exist, we're not avoiding it. It's that we, I'm not super well versed. I mean, I know what it is. I know, you know, I've read a lot of it, but I don't practice it. So, but I think the identity is how are we handling it? How are we, that's like the test of humanity, is that wherever there is light, there's darkness. Wherever there's suffering, there's happiness. Like, how am I handling it? How am I processing it? It should be more of our identity than the suffering in itself, you know?
Right. I like the Zen thinking because, you know, the master asks the student, who are you? And the student keeps, I am my this, I am my that, I'm my thoughts, I'm my feelings, I'm my body, I'm my mind. No, your mind is your mind. Your thoughts are your thoughts. Your body is your body. Who are you? And then eventually he falls silent and the master says, there.
That's who you are.
That's the answer. And it actually comes from like Taoist principle. And the void of nothing is where everything resides. And what I like about it is like reality is a paradox. And anything that's going to state it correctly, anything that makes sense to me won't make sense, which is another paradox. But like existence doesn't make sense, and here we are.
It's like God in itself is capital G, great mystery, capital M, the great mystery. You know, like we don't understand, and if we do understand, I don't want to talk to you, like, because if you think you understand what is God,
you got it wrong.
Yeah, it's wrong.
And Taoism literally says that.
I think pretty much all of them kind of say that. Some of them are like pointing you to that answer per se, but all of them are kind of putting them, you know, even like, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but like Yahweh, for thousands of years, they like wouldn't say God's name. They did not want to speak a name over it. Mm-hmm. So Yahweh is like a breath in and a breath out, like, So it's just vowels. It's
Yeah.
just breath in and breath out. That's where the name came from or whatever. So I don't think it's naturally just a one sect of like Eastern or one sect of, it's a pretty universal
I think,
thing.
yeah, anyone with a certain level of intelligence who's pondered it, I think will come to the same conclusion and explain it in a way that their culture kind of allows them to,
Yeah.
which is why even as a kid, when after studying a few of them, I was like, well, it's kind of like not everybody speaks English, right? So you got to use the language that, if you go to Mexico, you got to use Spanish because that's what they understand.
Yeah.
If you go to China, you got to use Mandarin. Just like that. Religion's just like that. You just got to use the language that people understand.
The one thing I've really understood through experience only is every time that my brain is involved, I'm trying to understand, manipulate, and control what is God. And every time that I move forward in faith is when I go, when my intellect breaks and I go, I don't even know. Because I've been beat into a place of surrender. Usually this is what's happening. I've been beat into a place of surrender enough for me to go, a little more I'll trust, a little more I'll jump in faith. And it seems that it always happens. Like my brain can no longer control and manipulate the situation. And then I just go, I don't know. And it seems like that's where repeatedly I've done step 2 is that break, that snap in my intellect, because I'm
kind of like that with every topic in life right now. I'm at a very big I don't know point. I'm starting to see more and more of what I don't want to do with myself. I don't want to sit in my room all the time. I don't really want to be a software engineer. I started that on a drunk whim. Now I'm like 2.5 years deep into that degree, and AI's just pretty much put it out. I'm going to be competing with people who not only love doing this stuff on their free time, but also have like 5 to 10 years of experience. And I'm just going to be coming out like, well, it's a job. Can you give it to me? Like, no.
you'd probably be able to get the job. But it depends
It's
if
not something I'm really into, I learned though,
do
too.
you want it? Yeah.
I wanted it because of the freedom and money that comes with it. And those are both going away. Because now that the jobs are becoming more scarce, now that there's more supply than demand, now it's the employer's market. Now they can say, we'll pay you $15 an hour. You need a job, right? It's better than a Panera Bread, right?
Yeah. I opened the pressure washing company, and 6 months in, I go, I don't even like pressure washing.
Yeah.
I would come home and tell my ex-wife, I go, I'll tell you what's really funny is I hate pressure washing. I hate it.
I don't mind it in the summer.
You don't mind it because you're doing it once or twice or a week. If you're doing it.
If I'm just staying soaked.
Yeah, there's chemicals. They're all over you. It's in your nose. It's on your skin. It causes problems. It's wet. Your feet are wet. That would drive me nuts. And we don't use chemicals when we power wash it. No.
We're just doing it for a select few people, though. Yeah.
The thing about like not being interested in like what you're doing and like they're kind of learning who you are, and then like maybe with the software engineering, you're like, well, I don't really.
I don't think I like it any more than doing electrical, and I already have experience doing electrical.
One of the things, I heard this thing one time, and they, I'm sure you know who Michelangelo is, right? Mm-hmm. They asked him one time, how did he build the statue of David? And he said, I didn't build the statue of David. And they asked him why. He built it. It's right there, whatever, And he goes, I didn't build it. I just removed what wasn't David. And a lot of people will correlate the story to spiritual. All spiritual growth is through subtraction and not through addition.
Right.
So, like, removing what is not you is how you become closer to and become yourself and become free and closer to God. A lot of it has to do with, not necessarily, but bad habits. Something's not serving myself. attachments in life. Like,
that's what I'm.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
whatever the
kind of what I'm
attachments
saying.
could be, but like usually we're the ones holding on to the attachments, the bad habits. And when we let them go, I'd say 10 times out of 10, something's better on the other side. It's just us holding on to it. That's more of a Eastern or Hindu thought process of like attachment theory of like letting stuff go.
Right.
But it's definitely helped me in my life because I struggle, which is great in business. I'm great. I'm super disciplined. If you need someone to build an entire apartment complex, I can immediately right now think of everything we're going to need, what we're going to do, what we're plans, how many employees, like what's going to go wrong, how's it going to go wrong, like because that's who I am naturally. Like I can think of just how we're going to get there, A to B, and what's going to go wrong during that, and how we're going to handle it. And I'm going to wake up every day and do it. Like I'm super disciplined, you know.
Yeah.
And like I've been doing some of the same things in my life for 7-8 years straight. Just I'm super rigid when it comes to discipline. But when it comes to some things in my life, that is ineffective because the attachment of discipline in itself, I'm loyal to, which can cause problems in my life because I don't know how to let it go. Which is,
Right.
yeah, because I'm committed to the thing and not to what it's actually serving me and God.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
I was like that once upon a time. Now I'm like the opposite.
Well, that didn't happen until I got sober.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the rigid, the discipline.
I am disciplined, but with a select few things. Hygiene, going to the gym,
Those are good things.
taking care of like necessary stuff.
Yeah, those are great
I
things.
will go to work. I tell my boss how much I don't want to be at work and stuff like that, but I will be there and do my job. I won't drag ass or any of that.
You just bitch the entire time.
Just most of it.
Just while we're in the car.
Good 50%, you know. But if it's something that doesn't feel essential to my growth or my well-being, then it's really hard for me to discipline myself. And I have to be able to convince myself that it's worth the effort, which, from the story that I've given you, you might have gathered that it's hard for me to convince myself very many things are worth the effort. I would like to say I think Eastern philosophy-wise, and I do when I'm healthy, but I lean more towards just nihilistic, which is not how I would like to see things.
Yeah.
It's depressing, nihilism. It's and I don't think that the world is an accident or any of that. That just makes no sense to me. Accidents don't just create everything we see.
Yeah.
That's not like there's no chance that I will ever drop a glass of milk and it's just going to turn into, this beautiful little forest on my kitchen floor. That's just not, it's just as ridiculous as saying that the universe happened on accident. Like, so I'm not entirely nihilistic. I just don't know. And I don't know. The rest of it's just fighting old thought patterns. For some reason, it's comfortable for me to be like, well, none of it matters. I'll get to die one day. Not that I'm suicidal or anything, but knowing that it won't last forever can be a comfort zone. But I would much rather just enjoy life and not be like, well, thank God it won't last forever. Like I would like to at one point be like, man, I wish this could last forever.
It's
I haven't
possible.
done that since I was a child,
I'm going to ask you this last question. So the podcast in itself it's called Powerful Beyond Measure, which is based on a poem. And the poem starts, our deepest fear. So every guest they answer the question, what is our deepest fear? And when you answer the question, you'll state the question and then answer it. It'll be one sentence. So you have time to think about it and then answer the question.
No, I think I got it.
Okay.
My deepest fear is hope.
Is hope.
Hmm. I discovered this like just a week ago. Anytime Chandler gets all positive when I'm talking to a cute girl, I'm like, fucking stop. Don't make me hopeful. And it's like, oh, wait, I do that with everything. It'll get better. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to be hopeful. I don't want to think that I have a chance. That's scary because then I'll be even more disappointed.
It's in the same vein as my old sponsor, he would say, which is something I would do in my past. If I really tried, I could do it. I'd be the best at it if I really tried. But I'm not even going to try. It ain't worth my time.
I do that too.
It's in the same vein.
Yeah.
And what it's like a fear. It's fear. That it's fear of failing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. It's the same. I don't want to hope because if I hope, then my expectations will be high. And if I fail, I tried. And if I didn't try, well, it didn't matter anyways.
Right.
It's in the same thing as it doesn't matter anyways. I'm going to die.
I'm becoming aware though lately that
Awareness sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like when you go to therapy, then you become aware of your problem, let's say. In general, like therapy, you become aware of it and you go, man, this sucks. I'm getting worse. But,
Right.
but you're like, when you become aware, then you know.
It's the first step to changing any
correct.
any
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
And well, it's like, okay, you're scared of hope, but you're always hopeful anyway. Like
I think all humans.
Chandler acting all dorkily optimistic about something. It doesn't change the level of hope in my mind, not one way or another, whether I believe it or not. I have this idea of what I want, and I hope that I'm going to get it, and I can't help but to even daydream about it sometimes. Nothing's going to change that. No amount of my negative thinking, no amount of anyone else's positive thinking is going to change the underlying desire. You can't change what you actually expect or want to happen just by telling yourself something positive or negative. So to be afraid of something I can't control.
I don't know about that one.
No?
I mean.
If you're convinced of the positive or negative thing,
okay.
Maybe.
All right. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't ever tell myself anything I'm truly convinced about.
I was about to say manifestation is real. You know, if you believe, if you're convinced.
I think so too.
So same
and
thing
that's why my life is so depressing and negative, because I'm like, it's all depressing and negative.
Yeah, it's like self-fulfilling
I know.
prophecy.
It's like, stop.
Yeah.
But how do I stop? What I can do, if the opposite feels like horseshit, even though believing the opposite would make my life great, what I can at least do is come to my breath, go into the nothing, and just stop. I can at least stop the negative. Just stop.
That's a good
Chill
thing.
for a minute. You know, not nothing as in, oh, woe is me, you're nothing. No, just the space in between the moments. Just hang out there for a minute.